Kurt Helin, NBC Sports Radio. You can listen at NBCSportsRadio.com. Download the NBC Sports Radio Sports mobile app today. All right, happy opening day to you, Kurt. Are you a baseball fan? NBA guys, do you like baseball too?
I do like baseball. I love going to games. I go to actually out in Long Beach here. I go to college games at Long Beach State.
Nice.
Which is the school, for people who don't know. It's Troy Tulowitzki, Evan Longoria, Jared Weaver, a number of other NBA.
See, we got you.
MLB players right now. I think they got 5 or. I'd have to look up the number right now, but I think they got 5 or 6 guys. So it's kind of fun to go to a game and see this high level talent close up. But yeah, once we get to August and my life slows down, I try to make it out to go watch Mike Trout earn $200,000 for a day or get up to Dodger Stadium.
Opening day today, but we got plenty of NBA to get into here. Sixers take on the Nets, which could be a playoff preview, Kurt. We've talked a little bit about this, but, the Sixers have, it's funny. If you were here every day and kind of saw the social media interaction and the calls and the texts that we get, you would not know that the Sixers beat the Celtics and the Bucks recently. You would only know they lost to the Hawks in Orlando. So should Sixer fans be concerned that they played very poorly in their last 2 games in Atlanta and in Orlando?
I was hoping you could explain to me what's going on with the ups and downs. No, it's a young team and they're learning to win it, and obviously thrown together over the course of the season, and it leads to inconsistency. I don't think it's going to be a first round playoff problem. If it's Brooklyn or whomever in the bottom half, Detroit, whoever it ends up being, they'll make you work. These teams, they got some talent. They'll make you work. I love the way the Nets are one of my league pass favorites. I enjoy watching them play, the way they up and down, the energy they play with. All that said, you can work out kinks during the first round because it doesn't get serious till the second round in the East.
You mentioned Brooklyn. The Sixers will play them tonight. They've given the Sixers some problems. And to answer your question, I don't, I think the Sixers, they've been told so much. You can't beat Milwaukee. You can't beat Boston. Then they do, and you're bound for a letdown. It seems that they're kind of stuck in this number 3 spot. Yeah, they could probably drop to 4. They probably can't get to 2, but it looks like they're going to be number 3. These 82-game seasons, I think the human nature kind of takes over of, hey, the grind is almost there. We're ready to play some high-level games. I mean, is that a viable answer for you?
No, actually it is. I think that, I would say Golden State's been going through that since, I don't know, Halloween. But everybody else, look, it's just like you and me and everybody listening. Of course, I would never do this at NBC. I'm committed to the end. But, the days before your vacation aren't your most focused days at the office. There's a lot of that going on where teams are either going home or they know they're going to the playoffs and they know they've got to start gearing up for that, and guys rest, and the mental focus wanes at the end of the season a lot of times.
As we've seen a lot of teams, kind of playing down. Golden State lost by 35 to Dallas. The Celtics with some very meaningful games at home got blown out by the Spurs. I mean, it seems that everybody has their focus elsewhere. But there are some big ones down the stretch. Sixers play the Nets tonight. We have that for you on 97.3 ESPN. And then there is the Celtics. Do you look at this Celtics team and just say that they're content with being the 5 seed if that's what they are? Or do you think that they are – I know they want to be the 4 seed, but it doesn't seem that team is flipping the switch anytime soon.
No, and it's not going to be easy as much as, it's a tough schedule down the stretch for Indiana, and, they lost last night. There's not a lot of quit in that team. I mean, to be honest with you, they won 41 of the 48 minutes against Oklahoma City Wednesday night. They really lost those 7 minutes badly in the third quarter, and that was the game. But they're not going to give this away, and I'm just not sure there's enough fight in Boston to get past them. What I'm curious about is if Boston will win that first round series. Do they get it together? Is that 70-something games in the season? We shouldn't be asking that, but that's the question, right? It's kind of get pushed 5 or 6 games, maybe 7 games in the first round.
Right?
Do they get it together then and then storm into the second round ready to roll? Not impossible, but they haven't shown me that they can do that.
Yeah, I mean, they had the players-only meeting the other night, or Stevenson come out for a half an hour. It seems that they're getting a little kind of not complacent, but it's almost like this is who they are. So many people say, well, the Celtics have shown us they can make the run. Do you feel that they are similar to the two previous years that made it to the East, or is there something different about this team?
There is something I think is different about this team in terms of they just have not melded. All those guys. Look, Jason Tatum and Terry Rozier and all these, Jaylen Brown, everybody they got to eat at the all-you-can-eat buffet last playoffs, and they haven't quite been comfortable getting back into roles. I'm not sure that Kyrie Irving is the guy who gets everybody involved on the same way. The ball movement comes and goes with them, and I'm not convinced. I'm not sold. I thought they'd get it together at some point, and they haven't, and I think that really opens up everything for the unproven Milwaukee team, or what exactly is there in Toronto team, or Philadelphia, who I also think they've got the best starting five in the league, and if they can find some bench rotations and it comes together, if they're a four-sided dice, I just don't know who's coming out of the East, to be honest.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. Last one for Kurt Helin, NBC Sports. Tom Haberstroh over at NBCSports.com just wrote a piece about momentum being a myth in the NBA. These late games, the Sixers won 16 in a row last year, and they beat the Heat in the first round, but there is a lot of evidence that momentum is not all that important. So many Sixer fans are angry because, hey, you got to be playing your best. You got to beat teams like the Hawks and the Magic. Is momentum, to you, a myth?
Not as much as I think Tom thinks it is. To me, it's twofold. A, if you believe in it, it's kind of like the hot hand theory. If you were going to get a hot hand, the placebo effect or not, it impacts you. I think, though, that it's a question of if you're playing well or know you can play well. To use the easy example of Golden State, have they had some bad games? Yeah. By the way, that Dallas loss was a reminder of what happens when Steph Curry sets their offense. It's the same. But we also know they know they can flip the switch. They have flipped the switch at points recently and reminded everybody they know they can do that. The question I've got is just, does Philadelphia know that? I don't know that they need the momentum, but do they really genuinely know they can do that? Does Boston? Does Toronto? I'm not sure who's that confident in the East right now.
Always a pleasure to catch up with Kurt Helin, talking some hoops. I can't wait to get into these playoffs. As you said, what is going to happen in the East? It could be the most interesting story in these NBA playoffs, and you can hear more from Kurt Helin on NBC Sports Radio, which you can listen at NBCSportsRadio.com. Download the NBC Sports Scores mobile app today. Always a pleasure, Kurt. Take care, man.
Thank you. Take care.